Peace, family. Welcome to another episode of Broken Theory. Today we got the homie GODCLOUD. What's going on?
Yo, what's good?
What's good, bro? I'm glad you could join us, man. I'm glad you could, bless the platform.
Absolutely, dude. You already know.
100%, man. So how'd you get started with music?
Shit, man. It's just been around forever, yo. Like, I come from musical family and all that. Like, my pops was in it. Just as early as I can remember, it's always been drum machines and guitars and shit, you know? So that's just what it's been. But I didn't really get into it like myself seriously until I say it's probably around like 9 or 10. That's when I got my first bass and was like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this, you know?
So like, you used to see your pops messing around with the drum machines. What were some of the drum machines that your pops would be using?
So he had the MPC 60 back in the day. Had the, what is that other, he had the Ensoniq and that Yamaha, what is it? The DX7 or is it PX? Hold on, let me. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. So I
know exactly what you're talking about. I think it's the DX7.
DX7, yeah, I'm looking it up. I got it's DX. I got a copy in Reason called the PX. Yeah, I got a PX7. So I always get them mixed up. But yeah, he had that. And there's a picture of me from back in the day where I got on a Nintendo Power Glove in front of that set. So it's like the most 80s shit in the world. But yeah, like, so
you need to make it an album cover.
Yeah, I know, but I gotta find that shit again, man. I'm like,
lost
I don't know what happened to it. Yeah, I don't know where it's at. I don't know where it's at. I remember my mom had blew it up and like had it on the wall for a while.
So you're gonna have to have AI recreate that shit or something.
Right. For real, yo. For real.
You know what it looks like, bro. So hey,
yeah.
Put the robots to work.
For real. But yeah, he had that and shit. And I always tell this story too, because he was in the studio at Dejalon back in the day with Jodeci and them, and Young Timbaland, Young Mitzi, all them were there. I was a little kid. I didn't appreciate it as much as I did when I got older and realized who people were. You know what I'm saying? But just always around the shit, which is always around it at a high level too. So it was just kind of normal,
Yeah, you have to. And it comes to a certain point to where you're like, okay, I need to pursue this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like you're in debt to the music. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You just got to get it out. Nah, absolutely, bro. So starting from there, at what point did you get your first piece of gear?
I was just talking about my bass that I had got, right? But even prior to that, I was playing violin in school when I was in,
you started with the violin?
I started with the violin. That was like my first instrument. But you had to read music, which I still don't know how to do to this day. And I just wasn't with it. I just was like, I'm not. But
I like the sound it makes.
yeah. And I like to fuck around with it, but when it came time to they're like, yo, you gotta learn jingle bells. I'm like, I ain't learning jingle shit, I'll tell you that much. But I got this thing I'm working on. This sound kind of fly. But I ended up quitting. In the same year that I had quit, my pops got me my bass when I was in it was in the Christmas when I was in 4th grade. So I don't know how old you are in 4th grade, like 9 or 10, something like that.
I think like 9, yeah.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah, so I was like 9 or 10 when I got, and I still got the bass. I done modified the shit out of it, but I still got it. I still play it all the time.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's still my weapon of choice, but that was like my first piece of gear, because this bass is like, that's my bitch, yo.
Ride or die.
Yeah, me and this thing I've been through, a lot, been on the road. So yeah, that was like my first real piece of equipment, So yeah. I guess my first piece of gear, if you want to count the bass, it'd be the bass. Yeah.
That's dope, man. Hey, so as an artist, how did you find your sound?
Oh man, I don't even think I have yet. I mean, I honestly, man, I do a lot. GODCLOUD does a lot, and I think that the thing with GODCLOUD is just being able to kind of fit into anything seamlessly. And I think my sound, it's got the rock to it, it's got the electronic to it. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of been a bit of balancing all of that stuff out, but keeping it pure to itself. Because I always hated when I'd hear like a rap rock crossover, but it sounds like either rock guys trying to do some rap shit or rap dudes trying to do some rock shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It don't sound authentic. So I always wanted to make sure that my shit sounded like, oh yeah, this dude is just like this. Not like I'm trying to fit into something. And that's for if I'm playing in a church or playing in a metal band or playing upright in a fucking big band. I always wanted to sound like, okay, like this he's fitting what's going on. But when I'm doing my own thing and I'm bringing all these different elements together, I want that shit to sound natural too. So I guess it's just been about me achieving that balance. That's what I always try to strive for. So yeah, finding my sound, it's always been about keeping the balance, keeping shit pure.
So what advice would you give to somebody that's looking to find the balance, I guess you could say, in their career?
Whoa, good question. I'll tell them this, like, you'll know. It's hard to really put your finger on it, but it's almost like I cook and shit too, right? And I was asking my mom about like a recipe, like, hey, how much of this or that do I put in there? And she was like, just put enough in and the ancestors will whisper to you, enough, my child. It's like that. It's really like that. Yeah. You're gonna feel it. The energy is gonna be just right. And people might say that's woo-woo shit, but we're dealing with sound, we're dealing with sonics, and cymatics it's not just like a loop company. That's the real study of sonics,
Yeah.
And you feel that fucking shit, just like you can feel when do you know when to jump into the shower? You got to feel the fucking water, right? You got to feel the music. You got to feel that music, and when you're feeling it and it feels right, it's like, okay, that's it, And not only that, but like, are you still being authentic? Are you still being yourself? You know, like, still feel like you're representing yourself in this? Like, okay, then you got the balance, you found it. So that's me trying to quantify it the best way possible, even though it's like some real ethereal, intangible shit.
Nah, I definitely appreciate you doing that. How do you decide when a piece of music is ready to be shared with the world? Do you have a specific process for this?
That's dude. I don't know. That's the $1 million question right there, because you gotta call it at some point, And again, it kind of goes back to what I was just saying about the ancestors telling you, yo, this shit is done. Yep. You don't want to. Who was it that I heard talking about? I think it was Jazzy Jeff, who was saying, "Die empty," like get all your music, like.
Yeah, I've
we
heard
make
that
so
statement
much music
before. Yeah.
I
believe that too, bro. I believe that too.
100%, man. Because like I make a lot of beats, dude. Like I'm finding shit from 2019 that I'm like, damn, I never did anything with this. Let me bring this shit back because I just make so much.
Bro. I just saw over the course of the time from 2017 when I started up until now, I put 2,000 videos up, which is pretty much all beats.
Yeah, right. You feel me? Right.
And that's just what saw the daylight, bro. So I can't imagine like all them hard drives that I lost, things like that like had hundreds of beats on it.
Right. And you never know what effect that, granted, let's say you don't put out a full song, you just put out like, yo, this me making this loop real quick.
Yep, just getting them reps in.
Right, and you never know what effect that will have on a listen. that could be the thing that makes somebody become a diehard fan, and it ain't even a song. They just like how you chop some shit. You know what I mean? And be like, yo, I never thought.
I'm seeing that more now, like anything, bro. Just like off of just trying shit and being vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? Fuck it, I made it, so somebody out there is gonna like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Music is subjective, so you never can tell what is gonna be the hit song or what's gonna go viral. It just goes viral. But you have to have things in play to where it's like those practices are prepared for that moment to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. 100%. Yep. And you gotta, you gotta stay ready. So when the time comes, you are ready,
Yep. And that's ready, so you ain't gotta get ready.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was trying to say. You got it. Yeah.
I got you, bro.
Yeah.
What makes a good song or a good beat to you?
Shit, man. And it's hard to say because I like so much different shit. You know?
I mean, just point out your favorite shit.
My favorite shit, yeah. Oh man, like it's gotta. Again, it goes back to those Sonics, man. It's gotta hit me. It's gotta be like I gotta be able to kind of apply a feeling to it. Like it's gotta be like, oh damn, I'm going through this and it matches up with this. And that's something too, like think about it. Like when you hear like certain songs that you have really liked that make you think of like, oh damn, like I remember that shit. Like, I remember I was wearing a big white tee and I was at the beach talking to this big booty chick. Oh man, I love this track. It made me think of that summer. That summer was fucking great, So that I like to correlate songs to that type of shit, you know what I mean? Like some of my favorite songs are like, yo man, I remember we was, like riding on the freeway coming back from doing whatever and was like, yo, I hope we get across these state lines type shit. And I'm like, hell yeah, but I'm riding around with my baby listening to this shit like, yo, kid, you know.
But I mean, if you think about it, sync does that same thing. It just gives you that familiar feeling to put those images in your head. You know what I mean? For a movie. But the movie is just so happens to be your life. So that's amazing, bro.
Yeah. Because that's what kind of makes a song like great for me. Because I can tell that other people who may have had experiences with the song will play it for me. And they're like, oh man, I just love this. I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it, fam. But like, hey, if you got some experience that are tethered to that make you love it, by all means, that's you. But I got nothing
I feel
it.
Tell me why.
Yeah.
Hey man, any books that have changed your life?
Oh shit, books. Fuck. Oh man, I'm about to sound super cliche here, but Art of War, 48 Laws of Power, anything for Robert Greene.
Robert Greene is the truth, for real.
Yeah, I went on a hard Robert Greene binge. I went through, The Art of Seduction.
The one he did with 50 was dope as hell.
I haven't gotten to that one yet.
That one is dope as hell, bro. I definitely like it more than the 48 Laws of Power.
Really?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what's funny is that as I listen to a lot of that stuff, because I got, like granted I've always been around the industry. I've always kind of had like my pops around, It's kind of like a buffer to a lot of the shit.
Yeah.
But when I got into it myself with the NFTs and was really in Hollywood and all that shit and was really around like the people that he's kind of talking about, and then I read the book, I was like, oh, this is what he's talking about. This is what they do. Like they were trying to do that to me and my stomach felt sick and I pushed back on it and then it was a problem. Like now all of a sudden the budget ain't right because I'm like disagreeing with them, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, I see how this shit play out. So yeah, the 48 Laws of the Truth, and I definitely gotta check the 51 out. That
I think it's called the 50th Law.
Yeah. No. I think that's it.
It's fire though, bro. From front to back, it's fire. Let's talk about the NFT space real quick because you mentioned that, and I just want to get a little bit more information for those that aren't familiar with NFTs. What is an NFT?
So basically, all it is, and I'm gonna explain it in, you know, simple terms. Like, all it is we're using this thing called the blockchain, which is like a database with a truth machine attached to it, so you can't lie, you can't alter it, you can't fuck with it. We're using that to keep track of digital shit, right? Because think about it like this: you go down. Let's say there's a place where you're downloading movies or downloading something. There's no way for you to say, oh, I downloaded number 1 or number 2, number 3, whatever, you know what I mean? There's no way for you to sell that in a way that can keep track that you didn't just make a copy of this shit. You know what I'm saying? There's really no way to trace all that shit. And again, like, there's no way to, if you're the one who's giving these downloads out or selling the downloads, there's no way for you to kind of cap it and make sure people aren't copying it and fucking around and still distributing it and bootlegging it, basically, right? So
essentially, it's just putting like a cap on people being able to do illegal situations, like selling products that aren't theirs, like burning CDs, distributing music that, you know, art, printing on T-shirts that they don't have the rights to, things like that, right?
Not so much. So here. Let me clean it up a bit. So basically, what it's allowing you to do is you can, if you're distributing this stuff, you can say, hey, I've got 20 versions of this, say a song. I'll just go through something that I've done. I'll say, hey, here's 20 copies of a GODCLOUD song. This is it. This is all you can have. Once you buy it from here, you will have it in a specific wallet that's yours, and you can sell it if you want to, but I'm still gonna get a cut off of that because the blockchain keeps track of all that shit. You feel me? But you still need to go through, you know, all your PRO stuff. You still need to get your rights on everything, because somebody could take that from the NFT side and try to put it on iTunes or whatever the fuck. And you got to be ready to combat that shit. So it's just a way to kind of keep track and quantify digital shit, basically.
Okay. Nah, that's pretty dope, man. So what has your experience been like maneuvering in that system? You know what I mean? Dealing with NFTs and dealing with that space.
Yeah. Oh, in the beginning, it was like cha-ching. Yo, it was money falling out of the fucking sky when I first got into it, because I got in really early. People weren't really fucking with the music on it yet. You know, like, I was the first person to bring finger drumming to the blockchain. People weren't really trying to, you know, people just didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
And I dropped something in March of 2021. Arab Music dropped something in April 2021. This other cat named Bazooka Joe, he dropped something in May of 2021. And those were the earliest examples of finger drumming stuff that I had saw on the blockchain, just ever. But I took it and fucking ran with it. Just started trying to think of different ways to utilize it. And just different ways to bring other people, you know, helping other people bring their work to the blockchain as well. And that's what really, kind of blew me up in the space, like turned me into a bit like, you know, and then this is what other people have said. I don't really subscribe to all of this stuff, but people will say that I'm like a celebrity in the space or this shit, that shit, that I was like, quote unquote, famous on Clubhouse for doing all that stuff. But I did, you know, I helped over 10,000 people get into Web3 and NFTs by just teaching classes, holding spaces. You know, we had 2 of the biggest rooms of the year on Clubhouse, one with George Lopez and another one with this music collective where we had MC Hammer, The Game, Aloe Black, just a bunch of people, ton of celebrities came through. I think we had like 62 or 64,000 people in that one particular room. But yeah, and, you know, ended up meeting George Lopez, started working closely with him, and that's who I'm working with him on the record label now and doing some other, you know, ventures and everything. But bruh, like, dude, it took me like, you know, 3-4 months to make like 5 figures and then flip that into more once I got into Web3. But it's fucking crazy. Kind of miss those days.
Nah,
it ain't like that no
bro.
more.
Nah, I know the well dried up, and that's why there's so many gurus now telling you how to do the wrong shit. And it's just like, you know, where do you start? I mean, that's at least how I look at it, that space. But it was dope to hear that you can navigate that space and, hey, make 5 figures, bro. That's dope as hell. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, it was wild, you know, because it all came from one finger drumming video that I sold for $25. And I flipped that, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna go buy a fucking car. Like,
wow, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it was crazy. You know.
So can you talk about how music has changed your life?
Oh yeah, you know what? I think that music has always been a part of my life, you know. So I think that because it is hard for me to say if it changed it, just because it's always been a part of it. But I can tell you how it's like helped set me apart from other people. You know. Yeah, let's do it. Like just I know that some of my cousins who used to rap and shit too. They would rather go to a party or go, you know, chill with some girls or whatever. I'd rather be in the lab, you know. And I think just being dedicated to something like music, being, you know, part of a discipline. Because I feel like this is just like a martial art to a point, you know.
100%.
Yeah, you got to be dedicated. You got to show up. You got to do this shit. You got to practice. You got to execute, you know. And I think just doing that gave me a discipline and taught me how I learn, you know. Because I never did good in school. I never even did good in music class, you know. But the fact that I can teach myself how to produce beats from scratch, how to shoot videos, you know, and how to navigate the music industry and make money. And that's something that's tough to do. Like, people struggle to figure out how to make this into a lucrative business, you know. You know, the fact that I honestly shouldn't have been able to do what I've been fucking doing. Well, you know what? Fucking, if Donald Trump got 34 fucking felonies running for president, my ass with one can be successful too. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, dude. So, yeah, and I think that music just like really kept like let me know how I operate and how to, you know, operate at the optimum level. And I don't think other people know how to do that. I don't think other people know how to get the best out of themselves.
It's definitely a skill.
Yeah, and another thing too that I think a lot of us do, it's like when we're trying to like nail a part or something just ain't lining up, we'll keep at it. We'll you know, keep going until we get it. Other people don't got that. Other people will talk themselves out of it. Maybe I just can't do it, you know, or maybe that, you know, I'll just do something else or whatever. But us musicians, we're like, nah, man, I got to get this shit till it fucking sound right. I can't leave the studio until I nail this guitar part. And that's something that I think music has taught me that most people don't have or understand, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Bro, it's crazy though, because at the end of the day, it's a skill. And if you apply it, you could definitely be successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah. That's what I try to tell people. Like, you only quit, or you only fail when you quit. So don't quit.
You can't.
That's it.
Well, I know that there's many, but what are some of the sacrifices that you made to get where you are right now?
Shit, dude. I mean, bruh, like a lot of social interactions and shit, you know, like I kind of made up for it later in my life, you know what I mean? But a lot of girlfriends and shit, like a lot of, you know, just time, I guess, being spent building relationships with people, with my family, even. And I'm trying to, right now, kind of like rectify that. Because I just got into like, I just told myself, like, yo, you got to make with this music shit. And then I just kind of shut everybody out, you know? But then
sometimes you have to, bro.
Yeah. But once I started like losing people, that's when I was like, oh shit, I think that, it kind of like shook something up in me. I was like, damn, I'm like, okay, well, I gotta, like make time for my family too. Gotta make sure that I'm a bit more present, just, yeah, man, just because like, I just always kind of assumed that like, oh no, I'm everybody a beer, like everybody cool, like I know they over there, like I'll come around, but then like I remember when I had been meaning to call my uncle, but just was busy and just didn't, and then I was doing I was actually interviewing fucking Val Kilmer, and my pops was like blowing me up, and my uncle had passed away while I was in the middle of that interview, and I was like, shit. And that, once that happened, I was like, okay, I gotta kind of be around a little more. So definitely, a lot of familial sacrifices. Obviously the money and shit too. Like putting money in the gear, being like, all right, what I get a drum machine today, or do I, like get the car fixed type shit? You know what I mean? It's like, looks like you're making some beats to stay home, so.
Yeah, I definitely know that, bro.
Yep. It's all for a greater purpose, how I see it,
Yeah, it all works out in the long run, you know what I'm saying? Everything always works out for the better. You have that feeling inside of you because, you know what I'm saying, you're meant to do this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly it, man. That's absolutely it.
Nah, so how did you get your name?
So GODCLOUD, it's a mix of a lot of stuff, right? And at this particular time, I was listening to just a lot of like 5%er shit, but I don't really like to subscribe to any one thing, but I like, I'll listen to something, and if I find some jewels in it, I'll be like, okay, like I respect that, like that makes sense, that adds up. Like I don't like really subscribe to any religion. I don't, like go to church or no shit like that. But I really resonated with like, yo, that the black man is God, you know what I mean? Like think about it, like we thrive off the fucking sun. When and I got to be careful what I say, I don't want to get canceled, but so
everybody's entitled to their own opinion, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
nobody getting canceled.
I was always really, I always loved the fact that ancient cultures worship the sun because the sun provided life. It just, it helped everything grow. No sun, there's no life, And when you look at who we are and you look at how society has developed, it's like, come on now. Where's everything fucking come from? The studies of everything, not even everything, but the breaking down and the studies of all this shit come from. It comes from, from fucking Kemet, you know what I'm saying? So with all that, I always kind of like the blunt emotionlessness of science too, right? And what's the sun in a scientific term? It's like a gas cloud in space, right? Just fucking burning, doing its thing, you know what I mean? And that's what is giving us the life. So GODCLOUD essentially just means the sun, because, people used to worship the sun as a god, but on the science side, it's a gas cloud. So I just was like, you know what? GODCLOUD. And I had another name too, but I remember I was in my 95 Saturn with my cousin. We were smoking some fucking Reggie, and I was like, yo, cuz, what you think of this? And I'm like, I'm either gonna be the great child, so still GC, or GODCLOUD. And he's like, yo, that GODCLOUD shit sound tough. Go with that. That was back in like 2007, and I was like, all right, bet, all right, cool.
Shit sound tough. So what's up with the GC though?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It was. I don't know why. I don't know why I was thinking of that, but it was just funny because I was either gonna be GODCLOUD or the Great Child, which I never and I think I kind of just right now realized that was a GC thing too.
Okay.
But yeah,
I thought maybe that was like your initials or something. Like it's ironic how both of them were GC. That's dope.
Yeah, no, it really is, and I just kind of pieced that together right now talking to you. It's funny, but I don't know why or what, because it's not my initials. It's not like I have some affinity for like the letters G and C or anything like that. But and once I came up with the name GODCLOUD, I was like, you know what, like. This is it. This is what I'm sticking with this shit, and I just been fucking running with it, and I feel like I've kind of grown into the essence of that through everything that I've gone through and become. Like I'm fucking GODCLOUD now. Like I don't even like people calling me by my real name no more.
That's what's up, bro. How do you handle creative block?
Well, so when I feel like I can't like do anything, it's time to practice, yo. It's time to either learn how a synth work, it's time to do some plain old sound design. And that's what'll get you out of that shit, honestly. That's the trick. It's to do something boring, it's to get that metronome out and just, like start fucking doing some like just doing that shit. Something's gonna come out from you fucking with the click track, or I'll blank a synth out in Reason. I use Reason for most of my sound design and shit. I'll just blank a synth out, start with a sine wave, and see what happens. I'll just start fucking with something, or I'll be like, let's make some 808s or some shit. And basically what you're doing is you're making some new materials, you're making some new materials to build with. And once you've built up that enough, you're gonna start getting some new sparks of creativity, because think about it, dude, we're pulling this shit out of thin air. Think about all the music that you made. Where did that shit come from, bro? It was not there beforehand. I know, and you just made it up. So it's mind
blowing knowing that people have made memories, like knowing that your music has got people through hard times or got people through certain shit in life. Like that just makes it all worth it for me, bro.
Right. Yeah. Because and I feel that when we're doing this stuff, we're like subconsciously conveying a feeling. And when people are picking up on that, they're like, oh damn, like, oh shit, it's getting through to people. It's like setting out a beat. It's like, imagine like how they send radio waves out into space, and obviously we haven't gotten any contact back from an alien or whatever the fuck yet, but imagine the day that we do. That's going to be huge. And that's what I feel like making music is. You make something, you send it out, people connect and respond and give you feedback back, and then you're like, oh damn, like mission accomplished, so
that's crazy, bro. That's a great analogy.
Yeah, man, it's wild to like to pull some sounds out of fucking thin air that weren't there before, didn't exist in that way, and to see it affect to alter somebody chemically is fucking crazy. It's nuts. And then for them to come back and tell you that, and now it's done a full feedback loop to where you've put something out, it's been received, and then now it's being reciprocated back to you, and now you're getting a dopamine hit. Now you're being changed chemically from it, and it's something you put out in the universe in the first fucking place. So yeah, it's fucking it's science, bro. It's all alchemy and science, and it's magic, and I fucking love it, dude.
But you think about it, bro. Like we sitting here listening to the same sounds over and over and over and over, bro. Like we're like some mad scientists for real.
For real, 100%, yo. Like sound scientists, yo. Like
sound scientist. I like that. I might have to trademark that, bro.
just give me a cut, bro. Just put me in the notes.
I got you, bro. I got you. Nah, but what would you say is your biggest investment in music so far, besides time?
That's just what I was about to say.
I picked up on that. Every artist says time, so I'm cutting that out.
All right. You know what? Damn, dude. I would say my biggest investment, aside from time, has been my body, dude. Because like I play instruments and like playing guitar, even the finger drumming and shit, dude. That wears on your joints, that wears on your hands, that wears on your neck. Kills your back, and even at a young age, because I would practice so much, I started getting tendonitis.
Wow.
Yeah, in both hands, and dude, it'll be times because I practice so much that like my hands will just start fucking hollering, bro. Like I'll have dude, it's real fucking bad. Like I'll just have to kind of like bring them in for a second and be like, okay, like let this shit fucking. It's like I get a migraine in my hands, bro. It hurts so bad. That and shit. As much as I don't like to say this, dude, my hearing too. So I used to play in metal bands, and we weren't always using earplugs, and it would be really fucking loud. And I got a little loss on my right side, and yeah, dude, like everybody wear earplugs out there, like make sure you do that. If you're playing in live situations, or you've been going to a lot of concerts, so yeah, I'd say that the other sacrifice other than time has been like my physical being, but that's fucking part of it too, you know what I mean? Like I used to be a pro wrestler too, so it's all, I'm like, hey, I ain't gonna be here forever, so I'm about to use this fucking thing that I'm in to the fucking most.
I definitely agree with that, man.